What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Demon Reads Comics. Today we're going to do a review of Lady Killer Library Edition. It's hardcover too, actually, because I do believe these come in trade paperback, single issues. I don't know if they collected this in hardcover okay, before I say that, so this collects Lady Killer issues 1 through 5 and Lady Killer 2 issues 1 through 5. I do believe there's single issues of each one, and there's trade paperbacks of Volume 1 and Volume 2 of Lady Killer 1 and Lady Killer 2, but there's not a hardcover edition of either or. You have to get the library edition. So that all being said, like I said, this is Lady Killer Library Edition. Art by Joelle Jones. Oh, here we go. Colors by Laura Allred. Story by Joelle Jones and Jamie S. Rich. And then colors by Michelle Madison and letters by Crank. I actually first thought this was actually all female, like all females worked on this, but Jamie S. Rich is actually male. So yeah, I thought it was going to be cool. I mean, it is cool still, but you know what I meant was an all female cast doing this would be awesome. Anyway, it's published by Dark Horse Comics. It has 288 pages, and like I said, it collects issues 1 through 5 of Lady Killer 1 and issues 1 through 5 of Lady Killer 2. It does have beautiful sewn binding with a beautiful eye, and as you guys can see there, it does come with a pink ribbon. So that's freaking awesome. So yeah, let's go ahead and crack this open. Talk about the stories a little bit. There's honestly 2 stories, but in a nutshell, it goes a little bit more intricate into it, but overall, let's talk about those 2 stories, and hopefully I don't give spoilers for the people that want to read it at the end, which, now that I'm kind of thinking about it, there's not really a big, yeah, there is, actually, never mind. Anyway, so let's crack this open and see what you guys think. Alrighty, guys, so here it is, Lady Killer Library Edition. Let's go ahead and crack this open. I love this freaking end page right here. I don't know why sometimes they do library editions, sometimes they do slipcase editions, deluxe editions. I don't understand how they choose which books are going to have ribbons. Like, the only big ribbons that I know books come with are slipcase editions, some slipcase edition, and most absolute editions. So I don't know why this one, you know, being just a library edition, it came with it. But anyway, here's the front. I think they call it, what do they call it? This is the end cover sheet, and this is like the opening sheet, I think they call it. Anyway, here's the people that worked on it. This art is very, very beautiful. They did an amazing job with this art. So we get introduced, and we get the introduction, by the way, which is awesome. So this does start in Seattle in 1962, Volume 1. Like I said, there's Volume 1 and Volume 2, and each one has 5 chapters. I don't know if they're chapters or issues. So anyway, we get introduced to this female right here. She actually, when you first get introduced to her, her name's not what she says her name is. Because she says her name is Mrs. Anderson, and that's not her real name. So her real name is actually Josephine. They call her Josie Schuler, and she is married to Jean and has 2 beautiful little daughters named Jessica and Jane. And she is a loving wife in 1962 in Seattle as a housewife, but she's also something more. What is she? So right now, she's pretending to be an Avon worker, but she's actually a hired assassin that works for a company, and she does put in work right here. It is a little bit violence, a little bit of blood here and there, but it's not too gory. Actually, it is kind of gory, but so yeah, that's her. That's who she is. Her name's Josephine Josie Schuler. Works for a company that puts out, targets. Her big thing, though, is that she doesn't like using guns. All her work that she puts in to take the people out that she's supposed to, she does it with any means necessary, but not guns, whether it be knives, hammers, you name it. So then after that, after we get introduced to what this female is doing, she goes to her loving house, where you get introduced to the husband, Gene, and the two little girls. You kind of don't find out about the two little girls much. I didn't even really know their names until Lady Killer Part 2. I believe one of them is called Jane. Yeah, you get, introduced here in these issues, but I didn't know the other one until later on. We also find out that not only is it Josie living with Jean, her husband, and the two girls, they live with, excuse me, Mama Schuler, which is actually Jean's mother. So that's actually pretty cool, because she actually helps watch the girls. So in a nutshell, you find out that she's just a loving wife to a nice family. And, I guess she says to her husband that she worked for hospice, and that's why she's always out. And she's coming home at all different hours of the night. And then you finally get introduced to this guy right here. You don't know his first name until a few issues in, but his name is David Peck. And he's kind of like her handler, I guess you can say. Like, she works for a company, there's a boss, he's kind of like her supervisor, her handler. And he pretty much says, hey, you know what? I got another mission for you. You got to take care of this. That mission that she has to do, when she went to go do it, I was like, oh, please don't do it. Please don't do it. And then she didn't end up doing it. When she didn't end up doing it, it sets up a chain of events that finishes up the first 5 issues. And that chain of events is that she has to go and take care of a little boy. And because she doesn't do it, the company knew she wasn't going to do it, so the company puts a hit on her, and the boss, his name is Stenhelm, Mr. Stenhelm, orders Peck to take her out. So, yeah, they do a whole actually, before that happens with that little boy, she goes on a mission, or another quick mission, and handles herself. She goes to like a gentleman's club. There's really no nudity in here, actually, but she goes to a gentleman's club and takes care of business here. What I really, really like about this, more often than not, when I read a comic, I'll just kind of read what it says, kind of look at it. But you really have to pay attention to the details in the back, because if you don't, you'll miss something. And it was just so amazing that after I got done reading something, I paid attention to the little details. They put in a lot of details in this. A lot of details. So anyway, this is her next mission. She takes care of it. And then once she gets done taking care of it, Peck comes back in, and he kind of helps her, to dispose of the body, per se. Here's the end, part of the ribbon right here. So then Deck finally tells Josie that she needs to go and meet up with the boss, and this is the boss, Mr. Stenhelm. I think that's how you saw it, actually. Hold on, let's see. Stenhelm? Yeah, it's a weird name. Anyway, yeah. So they meet up. He gives her another assignment, and he knows that she's not gonna do it. He already knew it from the start that she wasn't gonna do it, and so he eventually talks to David Peck to take her out. But this is, you get a little bit more backstory. Not really backstory, but a little bit of, where she lives, the neighbors, and the little girls. And this is her next target. So we move on to chapter 3. Right before she goes and takes care of the target, there's a little party where you meet some random people. Some of them don't even matter. The only people that matter are Josephine, the husband, the two little girls, the grandma, Peck, and Mr. Stenholm. This is the grandma kind of confronting her, being like, "Why are you out all hours of the night?" type of thing. But anyway, and then it kind of cuts over to the meeting that I was telling you that Stenholm wants Peck to take care of Josephine. This is where she goes and tries to take out the little boy, but she can't do it. And because of that, because she can't do it, it sets up the chain of events that the boss knew was going to happen. There's a big old car chase. Certain things happen between her handler and Josie, and she kind of gets away. follows him a little bit, meets up with another female to take down the boss. There's that beautiful pink ribbon, by the way. She actually meets up with another girl named Ruby that works for the organization as well. But I'm not going to really talk about her because she's not really that big of a interest when it comes to this. But there's like a little fight scene here and there. And then, oh, I'm sorry. And then you get introduced to this old guy. He's actually an old assassin working for himself. His name is Irving Rembrandt. They just call him Irving. And he actually knows the grandma. They go into a big spiel about him knowing the grandma, or the grandma knowing him. They kind of give a backstory to that. This is the final showdown of what happens between the organization trying to take down Josie. What happens to Ruby, that female that I was telling you about, with Peck and the boss and Irving. I don't want to give the spoilers of what happens with all that, but eventually, I don't want to, actually, you know what? Here we go. I do want to say that the grandma kind of finds out what she's kind of doing, what her job entails. So then finally, we move on to 1963. They move to Cocoa Beach, and she kind of told herself, instead of working for a company, I'm going to start working for myself. And she does. She starts working for herself. She doesn't really like it because, one, she had to put in the job of doing the task of killing the people that she has to, but two, she has to do the cleanup work as well, and she's not liking that. And an opportunity comes for her at one point where Mr. Rembrandt Irving comes along and offers his services to help her dispose of the people that she takes care of, so to speak. And this right here, I really had to pay attention to it because once I got done reading these last 5 issues, I was like, when did this start? You got to really pay attention to these kind of, like her. This is, this is Gene, this is his boss, and this is the boss's wife. You have to pay attention to their behavior in this because something happens at the end. This right here. Something happens at the end that I did not see coming, and I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. So then she goes on another mission, finally takes care of another guy, and this is where Irving shows up and offers his services to help her. She does the work, he takes care of the bodies. That's pretty much what it comes down to. And at first it's going great, but he kind of shows up at different times and she's not liking it. And at one point, he shows up to the house, and she kind of goes to the grandmother and was like, what is going on? Why don't you like him? You know, what's going on with all this? And she finally sits down and tells Josephine everything about her past and how she met Irving, which is actually a very, very interesting backstory. I'm really glad that they kind of put that backstory in here. This was actually kind of funny to me. So Schuler is a German last name. So it's funny that they actually explained that she was actually German. She was part of the Nazi thing, as you can see there, which I did not see coming. But that's where she met Irving, found out his deep secrets, which I'm not going to give away, and why she hates him so much, and why she's telling Josephine to be careful with him, to not have him, come around the house. So she wants to go work for a company, but this guy approaches her, to work for a company. But when he finds out that she's working with Irving, he kind of, he's like, you know what, we're going to rescind your offer. We're not going to do it until you get rid of, you stop working with Irving. And so once he's kind of here again at her house, he takes care of a problem of Jean. I thought it was Irving that took care of the body, but later on you find out a different story. Later on you find out certain things and you're like, wow. But this is her kind of firing Irving. And then this big old thing happens between Irving pretty much going after her and her family. And it gets kind of wild. It gets really wild, actually. A lot of things I did not see coming. There was actually a lot of twist in this one. I didn't see the twist of Jean. I don't want to give that part away. Let's just say he's not so innocent as he seems to be. And yeah, the thing that I was saying with his boss's wife, that comes into play as well. And there's really not a happy ending to this. Like I said, there's no nudity, there's pasties on here, so I'm not too worried about it. But this Irving guy, man, he is relentless. He might be an old dude, but he is definitely relentless. But anyway, there's a big climactic fight between Irving and Josephine, and yeah, after that, some things play out where she doesn't get a happy ending at the end, and that's kind of unfortunate. She gets a happy ending with one individual, but not the people she wanted to get the happy ending with, and then that's when you kind of find out a little bit about Gene, that he's not as innocent as he posed to be. So yeah, I don't want to give too much more away, but this was a great freaking story, actually. I'm not gonna lie. Like, at first I was kind of like, it's kind of... The one thing I will say about this, it's too short. I wish it was longer. But I do want to show you one last thing, because this is where it ends, and they didn't do any more issues. Peck shows up at the end. He shows up, that's the main boss that wanted to hire her, and it says the end. So, I mean, where it goes, who knows? But they do have some beautiful art gallery at the back. These are little things that that Joelle did, which were actually kind of cool. When she drew these, she was just drawing them to have fun, and it kind of inspired her to make this book, which was amazing. And then you got some cover arts, because if you guys noticed, it's just a chapter 1, chapter 2. There was no covers to them. These are the covers. They're beautiful covers too, actually. The World's Fair. They call it the Science Space Fair in Seattle at the time. The way she disposed of some of the bodies was funny. I don't really want to get too grotesque into it, but in the first lady killer, she posed as like a Avon seller, and the second one she was posing as like a Tupperware seller. And when she was trying to dispose of the bodies of herself, she couldn't find a way to do it, and she used the Tupperware. Freaking wild. But anyway, yeah, this was actually a great read. Although here in a little bit, when I get done showing the cover art, this is beautiful right here. It almost reminds me of Fatale, Jennifer from Fatale. So beautiful with the green eyes and everything. Like, I wouldn't lie, I would definitely make this into a shirt. It looks freaking amazing. And put Lady Killer up here, or Josephine Schuler right here. You know, it would be awesome. This is actually when she first met a certain individual. This was in the background, and I didn't really pay attention to until I got to this, and then I kind of went back there, and they did like a little bit of foreshadowing, which was kind of weird. But you really got to pay attention to the details. Like, there's one in particular where I really liked what Josephine did. Not Josephine, I'm sorry, Joelle. What she did here was freaking amazing. Like, you get stories, you know what's going on, it's in the house, but whoever the artist and the way they did it, they put like the whole like the way you can see the house. You can see Josephine right here, the grandma, Irving coming in, just the layout of the house. It was so amazing. Like, you really got to pay attention to all these details. And you know these lights are on because they turned on lights to go see what happened, which I'm not going to spoil. The grandma did, and the girls did, and they all kind of met up over here. So that's why those are the only lights on. Oh, the attention to detail that they put into this book was so amazing. Anyway, let's close this up. I believe I showed you guys already that. Let's finish these up. The little wardrobe, the fashion, and then like the end pages. Actually, this was cool too. She actually took some time to check out like wallpapers from back in those years, which was freaking amazing. I mean, when you're doing something like that and you put a certain year, you got to make sure you're putting those kind of details in, which was amazing. But yeah, here's a few biographies by Joelle Jones, Jamie S. Rich, Laura Alfred, Michelle Madison, and Christopher Crank. And then also there's some other stories by Joelle Jones. I might pick some of them up. I'm not sure. Maybe Trollmaker. But I'll definitely see what's up. And then that's the end page and then the back of the book. So let's go ahead and do a quick. I don't know why that's doing this. Maybe the ribbons have something to do with it, but the book's acting weird. Like it. There we go. Let's go ahead and do the quick rating of this and see what you guys think. Alrighty guys, so let's do a quick recap of this. This is Lady Killer Library Edition, published by Dark Horse Comics. 288 pages. Excuse me. It collects issues 1 through 5 of the original Lady Killer and issues 1 through 5 of Lady Killer 2. It does have sewn binding, which you're not going to really see it because of the ribbon, but it does have sewn binding. And I just kind of noticed it that the ribbon's kind of messing it up a little bit. The pages are kind of starting to come unglued. So I might have to fix this book later on. But anyway, so what am I going to give this as a rating? It was a very interesting book. I really enjoyed it. I loved the art in it. It was amazing. But there was a few things that I didn't like. Now, what did I not like about it? Well, I think it was too short. What organization was she working with? You know, I guess they kind of want to keep that in wraps, not really say much, but you don't know what organization she was working with or what organization she was working with. You don't know why she got into it. I mean, there's like a little background of her with her mom. Her mom kills the dad. But that's just about it. Like, you don't get no background of her, how she met Gene. Nothing like that. So there's no really background. It just kind of throws you in it, shows you a little bit of adventure, and just finishes it. And don't get me wrong, I know a lot of books are going to be like that, and you just got to kind of enjoy them. But I guess you can say I really wish it was a little bit longer in my opinion. Now, the art, beautiful. The writing, it was a little short too. Like, I think they could have put in a little bit more writing to explain a few more things. So yeah, I think I'm going to give this a 3. As much as I wouldn't want to give it a 3, I want to give it a 4, but there was just so much missing for me. Like, I'm going to have to give it a 3. It's still a great book. I'm definitely going to keep it. I'm going to give it another read through, and if I'm still like at a 3, I'm probably going to get rid of it. But I did enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a quick read for me. I thought it was going to take me a couple days to read it, you know, a few issues at a time, but I blew through this in like a day. In one sit down, I blew through the whole thing. So maybe it was just me, you know, maybe I should have slowed down, but I enjoyed every detail of it. And yeah, so that's my rating for it, guys. I hope you guys liked the video. If you guys did, leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know if you guys read this before, if you guys liked it or not. Also, leave recommendations on what you guys think I should pick up next. If I have it, I'll let you guys know. If it's something I'm interested in, I'll definitely check it out. And if it's something that's just not going to be for me, I'll let you guys know. And yeah, and go from there. So yeah, definitely let me know if you guys read this and if you guys liked it or not. I did, but not so much to the point where I'm like, oh god, this was amazing, you know. So leave a like. If you guys haven't done so, subscribe. It really helps build my channel out. Check out my previous videos. With all that being said, guys, take care, stay healthy. We'll see you guys on the next one.